and welcome to Talisman Tarot. This reading is going to be about your future husband. So this will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, and this will be group number 4. And so let's proceed to your reading. Hello, group number 1. You chose the amethyst, and I will start by channeling a message for you. And so remember that this will be specific messages for specific people, and so not all the messages will apply to you, and so just remember that. And so I see that your future husband will be a sportsman, or he may just be a fan of sports. He might be a Lakers fan of Lakers. I think you will meet at a sports event or a game, or maybe you have already met at a sports event or a game, or maybe, okay, now I'm ruining the proposal, but maybe he will propose at a game when that time comes. Sorry if that ruined anything for you. I see that he might have darker skin and curly hair and brown eyes, and he might wear striped shirts a lot. I think his hair is like very thick, and he might even have dreadlocks, or he could just have very thick and coarse hair. He could have long hair, or he could have had long hair in the past. He could wear his hair in a bun or a ponytail. He could also wear a headband. He could wear his socks up to his knees. So he could also be like a basketball player. He could also like bowling a lot. Or he might live next door to a bowling alley, or live nearby a bowling alley, or I also heard Indianapolis, so he might be from there, or from Indiana, or somewhere close to that. This might just apply to one of you. He might have like quite big nostrils, and like wrinkles on his forehead. He might have a tattoo on his leg, maybe particularly on the left leg. He could have a trampoline in his backyard. He might look a bit like Soldier Boy. Or he could be a soldier. His name could be Zach, or Kim, or Frank or Aram or Tristan or Jasper, Cole, Coleman, Christian, Daniel, Truman, Leeks, Morgan, Michael, Jim, or like also maybe an Old Norse name too, like maybe Icelandic, an Icelandic name. He might also be from India. And if this is not a dark-skinned person, he could also be very fair-skinned with like red hair and freckles. And if that's the case, he might have like a pointy nose. He could be very also with like the bowling alley. He could actually work at a bowling alley. So he might also work at like somewhere that has like trampolines, or he could work at an amusement park, or he could live close to an amusement park. Doesn't bowling staff like have like striped shirts? Or is that just in the movies? I don't know. But so maybe he has like maybe he works at a bowling alley. So I think this person is a lot of fun to be around. He might also have had like a summer job at an amusement park, and then he may have like dropped out of school to continue to work at that amusement park. Like he might have realized that it was more fun, and it made him happy to see people happy, and so he didn't want to go back to school or something like that. For some of you, this person has a beard. It could be like a shaggy beard, like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Like it could be on the chin only. Like he could also look a bit like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Like he could be very tall, and but I see that this person could be on the heavier side though. So he might not be that thin. He might also play drums, or he might have like played drums when he was younger. I also heard like vehicles, so maybe he has like an interest for vehicles, like maybe cars, but it could also be some other kind of vehicles, maybe even like trains. Maybe he has like a train set. Maybe he worked on a train set as a child with like his father or something like that. I think this person might be quite young at heart. Might have like a childlike joy for life and also for the little things in life, like. And I think that's maybe exactly what you need. Maybe you need someone who doesn't take things so seriously. I think this person is really like easy to laughter. Like he might laugh at like the silliest things. Like he might laugh hysterically over like cat videos or something like that. Something silly like. But I also see that for some of you, this person might also be like very funny, like not in a silly way, but like have like be maybe like Chandler from Friends, like. So he might also use humor as a defense mechanism. I don't know, but I think this person is really good looking. He could also be very good in bed, but he might be on the kinky side. He might have some weird fetishes. He could also be into like tantra sex. So for the ones where this isn't a sportsman, I think this person might actually be the total opposite. He might have been like a wimpy kid. He could even have been teased for it, and he might also be a bit on the feminine side. He might not really like to do manly stuff, and he might also be a bit nerdy. He might be the type who didn't play sports but like to collect sports cards, and maybe he's a fan of a sports team and likes to watch games but doesn't like to play games, or like he could also like to play FIFA but hate to play soccer. But although he could be a bit nerdy and maybe a bit goofy, I do get the sense that he is actually a great dresser. He might actually have a really good fashion sense, like, but maybe that's just his mom. Maybe his mother puts out his clothes for him, but that's only for a very few of you. But mostly I think just this person might have really a good sense of style and also sense of colors, like what colors suit him and go well together. And so but I think the first impression he gives people is of someone who doesn't take anything seriously, who's maybe too much play and not enough work, and someone who might be a bit childish and silly. But I actually see that he is a lot more than meets the eye. He has a very deep side to him. He maybe even like a spiritual side. He might also be very smart. I think he might come from a very religious background, and maybe his family were Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses or some religious cult or sect, and I think this person might have like escaped from it and in the process he might have lost contact with his family. He might have also have struggled afterwards because he felt like he had lost his faith and connection to God, and he might have felt that God might have turned his back on him and so I see that there might be a lot of layers to the onion, and I also see that he might actually be so attracted to amusement parks because he wasn't allowed to go to them as a child. He might not even have been allowed to have fun. Like, he could have been like from a religious sect where fun was not allowed. Like, in some sects you are not even allowed to play music because then you're entertaining Satan. And so he could also be just from like a very strict family, and so he might have turned his back on them when he chose to quit school, or maybe his family turned their back on him because he chose to quit school. But I think that when you get to know this person, I think you'll find that there's actually a very old and wise soul trapped in this like silly and young exterior, but it's not a bad thing that he's locked this side of him away, because I think he is very happy without it, because, well, he might have a bit of abandonment issues, and so you might have to be prepared for that when you get into this relationship, because he might become more dependent on you than you are on him, like in the relationship, and he might also have like a hard time trusting people, or trusting like trusting you in a relationship, and he might also have like a hard time letting people see that other side of him. Like, he might not really let you in, and he might be a bit closed off emotionally, and he might also become a bit needy in a relationship. He might constantly seek proof that you are not going to abandon him like his family did, and so he might need a lot of confirmation from you. But I don't think that will be a problem if you just make it really clear to him that you are not going to leave him, and maybe even tell him that before he asks for it, like so that he doesn't become needy, like he doesn't appear needy. And if you already know this person, I see that he might text you like very soon, but if you don't know him, I think you will meet in like 3 or 6 months, and I think this person will love you very much. But I will say that this person might make a lot of appointments, and he might not be that good at keeping them, and so you might experience that, like that you arranged a meeting with him and he doesn't show up. And I understand if this is completely a deal breaker to you, but he might actually just be so afraid of rejection that he thinks it's safer to reject you first. Like he's afraid that you won't show up to the date. And so he will like not show up to the date first, like so like if this happens, then you're of course in your full right to call him out and tell him that you don't tolerate that kind of behavior, and then ask him, well, maybe ask him on another date with you. And if you plan a date in the future with this person, you can also prevent this from happening by like writing a lot of confirming texts to him right up until the date begins, and then maybe that will be proof enough for him that you will actually show up, and so he might actually dare to go on the date. But he is someone who needs a lot of confirmation from people, and so he could also smoke weed, and if he does that, you might have to make sure that he's very careful, because I think he might be in risk of getting caught or busted, and he might actually already have been caught. And I don't know if it's because he's carrying drugs, illegal drugs, or if he's actually selling drugs. But if he is selling drugs, he needs to stop, and you need to warn him that he is in very high risk of getting caught, and he might actually take that seriously, because I think he has a very spiritual side to him, and so I think he might actually consider changing his lifestyle if he was told to do that by like a fortune teller. I think he believes in that kind of stuff. So, but let's draw some cards. Okay, so Ace of Swords, the Emperor, Ace of Wands, Five of Cups. Okay, so with the Emperor here, I see that he might be so afraid of people leaving him that he can become a bit controlling and maybe even like dominant in a relationship. He might actually want to keep his girlfriends on a leash. He might, well, when you two start dating, like, I'm not sure if this is probably how he is now. I don't know how he will be in your relationship, but he might be someone who doesn't want his girlfriends to see their friends, or go to parties, because he's afraid that they will find someone better than him. But but if you, when you two date, I think that if you actually have a very, very deep talk with him about his issues, I think you might actually be able to work this out, because I don't actually think he is that dominant or controlling. Like, I don't think that's his personality, but maybe he's like affected by his upbringing, or maybe he even had a dominant father who were very controlling, and so he might continue that behavior in his own in his marriage. Or he could also like not at all resemble his father. He might just have his his father could just have like shaped his personality a lot, maybe because he was very strict on him, or even like maybe violent towards him. So he could have like some issues about with his father, and that could come through in his like personality. And he might also be an Aries, and so with the Ace of Swords here, I think he might be very smart and have a lot of smart ideas. I think he actually is like able to grasp a lot of like very complicated concepts like very easily, and so I think he has a very high potential, especially if he chose to like go to school again. And because I see that maybe I see that he was actually really good in school. He just dropped out because he was burned out. He might have like felt like pressure from his family, and he was like maybe tired of people dictating what he should do with his life and who he should be, and so maybe he rebelled from that. But I think he might already have like an idea of like starting in school again, and I think also with the Ace of Wands here, he could be he could also be spiritual. He could have spiritual ideas, but this could also represent his childlike excitement for everything. And I think, and also he could have a personality where he doesn't really think things through, and maybe he acts and then thinks later. And but I think he has a lot of enthusiasm, and he might even like bounce with joy sometimes when he's like doing something that he really likes to do. But then of course with the Five of Cups here, this probably represents his like deep deep layer of his soul, like the side of him that he doesn't really show to others, the side that is like very disappointed and almost very pessimistic. And I think he might actually seem so like happy-go-lucky because he thinks that if he comes across as someone who doesn't care about anything, then people can't hurt him. Like you probably heard heard people say that the way to stop a bully is to like act like you don't care, and that is like the most horrible thing you can tell someone who's like getting bullied, because first of all it is making you like responsible for the bullying, because it insinuates that the bullying only exists because you react in a wrong way to it, and so it is kind of blaming the victim and making the victim responsible for like also for making the bullying stop, and it instead of asking the bully to stop bullying, like which would be the logical way to handle bullying. But well, what happens to people who has been bullied, and I think this person might have been bullied, and is that you act like you don't care about anything. Like I was told this when I was in school, that I should just ignore my bullies, and what that resulted in was that the bullies just kept throwing my school bag out of the window every day. Like every day, I'm serious. And like it didn't stop the bad behavior from like they still kept bullying me, but it stopped me from getting bothered by it, because I told them that I didn't care and they could just throw it out of the window. I didn't care about that. They should just feel free to do so, because I didn't care. And at some point I actually genuinely stopped caring, and I think from that point on I stopped caring about a lot of things. And so maybe this person has the same defense mechanism where he just tells people that he doesn't care about stuff that he actually cares a lot about, because in that way, if someone like throws this thing that he cares about out of the window, it will not bother him. Like, this might also be the reason why it doesn't why it didn't go very well for him in school. Maybe he came across as lazy, and maybe he didn't do his assignments, and when he was asked about it, he would probably act like he didn't care, and maybe maybe that was actually because it meant a lot to him, but he was afraid that people would bully him if they knew he actually took his school very seriously and tried his best, and because then if he failed, that would put him in a very vulnerable position, and I think he also like made himself believe that he actually didn't care, because then the failure wouldn't be so hard to deal with. And so I think that actually deep inside he is like this. He is disappointed in like himself that he didn't stay in school. I also feel like he turned his back on, like this could also have something to do with like him leaving his family if he did that, because he could like feel like he turned his back on like the two cops that are like upright, just to experience like he's facing the three cops that are lying down. So maybe he feels like after he turned his back on his family, he has actually just felt a lot of hardship and pain, and so that may also be why he feels like God may have turned his back on him because of this, because I see that he has actually had a very rough time after he it could also be school related, like he may have turned his back on his school to like do something more in alignment with himself, like something that was more fun, and but maybe this has turned out to be very, very hard on him, and harder than he expected. So that could be the case. And so I think he might have like regrets. He might have regrets for dropping out of school, regrets for like leaving his family, and even leaving his faith behind, like, and so he might like he might feel like he's getting punished by God right now, because he might be in a trial period of his life, and so, well, behind this happy-go-lucky exterior, I think that this person is very anxious, like, and someone who's likely very regretful and heartbroken. And so I will draw a few more cards just to see how this relationship will turn out. So I'll just move these a bit to the side, and so, okay, 5 of Pentacles and 9 of Wands and 6 of Swords and King of Pentacles. Okay, so I see that you might at first be a bit poor, like, and you might also realize that he doesn't have a support system, so you have to be his support system, and maybe also your family has to be his support system. But I think actually your family will be very helpful, and they will meet him with, like, they will be very nice to him. But you might feel like you're missing out, since he has he has like your family, but you don't have his. So, and you might have like tried to reach out to his family, but you might actually have been, or you might reach out to his family, and you might get rejected, and you might feel like this relationship will be very difficult to deal with, and I think you will have a very hard time getting through to him also, and getting him to like open up. You might realize that he's very closed off and even a bit defensive, like with the card here, the 9 of Wands here, like he might also be a bit broken, like from his heart, from his something that happened in his childhood, or maybe just this whole experience where he tried to get away from his family. And or his family turned their back on him. And I see like two scenarios here. Like the first is that you will actually leave him. With the card here, you might accept defeat and just like sail into calmer waters and maybe leave him behind, and then you might meet this new husband, this King of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, or maybe a rich man, and in the if that's the case, I see that might also work out in your favor. But in the second scenario, I think you might move away together. He might actually take you with him on this journey to somewhere else. And I think when you start this new life somewhere else, maybe even like very long way from his family, maybe even in like another country. And when you do this, I think that he might actually blossom and become like this King of Pentacles, this very successful and wealthy and stable person who will be very good to you and also help you, like, well, there will be money either way, like, so that's what I see for your group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel. Also, please like and comment if this resonated with you. Also, if it didn't, I would very much love your feedback. And I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 1. Sorry, hello, group number 2. You chose the aventurine, and I will start by channeling a message for you guys. And keep in mind that this is I will be channeling specific information to specific people, so not everything will resonate with you, so keep that in mind. So first of all, I think you might already know this person. So this person could have brown eyes. He might be thin. For some of you, this person could be Asian. He could be a foreigner. He could be bald and short. He could be also be light-skinned. He could be a singer-songwriter. He could also be very into folk music. He could also write music for children, like lullabies, or maybe he's in need of a lullaby. Maybe he's very overworked and tired. He could recently have like fractured something on his body, like he could even have fractured his skull. He could have glasses and black hair. He could have a lot of gel in his hair. He could wear like white button-up shirts. He could also wear like ties. He might work in business, or maybe he might be a business owner. He could also be an accountant or something where you need to wear a suit for work. He could also work in customer service, maybe in a phone company. He could also work in a call center. And if he's not bald, he could have trimmed his hair down to almost nothing, and he might also have curly hair. He might also have very round eyes. He might play basketball, or he could be a basketball fan. For some of you, this person could have braces, or he could have bracelets, like maybe bracelets on. He could wear bracelets, like I think he might be a heavy breather, so which might annoy you. Sorry I pointed that out. Like if someone pointed that out to me, I would be furious, because then I wouldn't be able to think about anything else. And so sorry for that. But if he isn't bald, he could have, or he could be someone who like isn't a heavy breather. Normally he might just be be a heavy breather when he's excited, like sexually, or maybe he but if he isn't bald, he could have a ponytail, or maybe like he's one of those who has like a what's it called, like a whip in the back. I don't know if people have that haircut anymore, but I get the feeling nowadays that everything that once were extremely outdated and lame seems to be coming into fashion again. So maybe someone is trying to rock this hairstyle again. You know, that haircut where your hair is like completely trimmed down, but then you leave the small amount of hair in the back, which you then maybe braid, and or he might just have like a weird haircut, I guess, like something very unconventional. And also he could have a mullet. Also he could, this is a specific message for one of you, he could look a bit like Ludacris. So maybe Google him, and maybe he resembles him in his appearance. And he could also, I heard Minnesota, so he might be from Minnesota. He could be, his name could be like Dennis, or Michael, Sam, Sonny, William, Bill, Logan, Jacob, or Hector. Also, so he could also be a fixed sign. He might only recently have started a job. I think he has been studying for quite a while. Or so I think he might have some money issues. I think he has a very hard time paying his student loans, and I think he might be very frustrated by the income he has right now. Like he might even like ask you to Venmo him some money. And also, if this person has not been a student, he could just have been out of a job for quite a while, in between jobs. But if he's a student, he might study business, but he could also study something to do with molecules, so chemistry or biology or something like that. Maybe even medicine. But that's only for maybe one of you. Or So I think that this person might have a very hard time receiving love. He might have some trust issues, or like even intimacy issues. He might have problems performing in bed. So for one of you, you might actually have been with this person last night, or he might have texted you last night. I also see that he might be like the silent type, or if he's not the silent type, he might just be a very bad communicator. Like he might be someone who doesn't text back. And it may take a long time to text back, and he might also be really bad in text. Like he might be really bad at communicating through text. And I see that this person can I see that for some of you, you might have to be a bit cautious about this person, because he might be choosing you for your money, and this is only specific for a few of you. But also, if this person lives in another country, he might actually not have the best intentions. Maybe he just plans to like marry you to get a green card, and so, well, this is very specific for only one of you, so bear that in mind. And I see that for some of you, you actually met this person while you were traveling. Also, I heard that he will be like told off. So I don't know if I don't know if this is like in a job sense, that he might be losing his job, or maybe you will like end this marriage, like or maybe you are actually married to this person as we speak, and you are considering who your next, maybe you're considering who your next boyfriend will be, like, because I heard like newlyweds. So for some of you, this is actually a husband of yours, and in that case, I think you will be separating from him soon, or maybe you won't get past that. Maybe you won't get past being like newlyweds. Maybe you will separate quite quickly after you get married. If that's the case, I'm really sorry for you. I hate to be to give you bad news, but like he might contact you afterwards for like closure, and you might have a really good talk and end up getting back together. He might also have a name that is hard to pronounce. Like he might be a ward. He might be from like another country, so he might have a name that is very hard to pronounce. And he might be like a Hindu, so he might be from India, and maybe he has moved to where you live, or maybe he's thinking of moving, and or maybe he has already moved away from you and is thinking of moving back. But I think that he will be cutting ties to his motherland, or maybe he has already cut ties to his motherland. I also heard hiccups, so maybe he has a lot of hiccups, or you might have helped him get rid of his hiccups once, or something like that. I think he also might be a bit clueless at times. Like, he might come across as someone who has like lived under a rock. But it's only because it might be because he's from another country, or even like another culture, or even like another subculture. Like, he could have lived in a very closed-off environment, but he might still be from the same country, but just from very different backgrounds or environments. And I think that this person could also be closed off. Like, I think he might have a hard time like opening up to people. I also think that he might like write a lot of notes to himself. Like, he might have a lot of post-it notes around his room. Like, if he's also, I don't think he has a lot of stuff in his room. Like, he might be, if he's a foreigner, he could have like traveled very lightly, so he might not have a lot of stuff. But I think he's someone who ages very well. Like, he might even like look very young for his age. Maybe even like a bit like a boy. He might have a bit of a childish face and childlike face. I think he's very like handsome, and I also think that besides his negative traits, which he has a bit many of, I'm sorry to say that, but I think he's funny in a way, and I think he will like make you laugh. And so I also think that this person could be someone you dated before, and you may have had a falling out, but now he will make a move on you again, and this time he will actually have learned his lesson. And also, if this is like an ex, he could have disappeared very suddenly from your life. Maybe he moved to another country, and maybe you tried to contact him back then, but you couldn't reach him. Like, he didn't text you back, or he could have like cut all ties with you, and so you didn't get like closure. But I think he might actually reach out to you very soon, and he might actually want to start the relationship again. And I think he will apologize for the bad communication, and I think he will consider moving closer to you. But in the meantime, I see that you will have contact long distance, and I think he will be consistent in doing that. But I also see that this will be not maybe not be so enjoyable because he's not really good at texting. Like, but I don't think it will be like last time. I think he will be very easy to reach, and I think he will be good at like being consistent at communicating with you. And also bear in mind that he might only be contacting you like again because he is broke and in need of financial help. So that's not so good. So that might actually really be prepared for that scenario. But let's draw some cards. And so, okay, so King of Swords, Two of Wands, Judgment, Six of Cups. Okay. He, with the King of Swords here, he could be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. He could also just be very smart. And with the Two of Wands here, I see that he's planning to make a move, maybe on you, possibly on you, maybe also in his life, like maybe he's considering changing his career or moving closer to you, not because, but, or something like that. And he might be like weighing his options right now. And that's also with the Judgment card here, I see that this person could be like, this could be a sign that he is actually changed, that he's like reborn, which is he might have learned from his mistakes, and he might have become more self-aware, and he might have matured quite a bit, even though you might, if you already know this person, you might actually think that's very unlikely, because when you were together he might have been very, very immature. And with the Six of Cups here, I think that, well, this might just be confirmation that this is actually an ex, because this is like a card about nostalgia, and so I think he might even have like he might have been thinking a lot about the past with you, and he might even have idolized it a bit in his head. But let's draw some cards about how your relationship will be with this person. And so, okay, Four of Wands, Queen of Wands, Four of Swords, Five of Pentacles. Okay, so what I see here is that in the beginning there will be a peace offering, like you can see in this picture, like there's an offering going on with the fire here and these idols being burned, and then there's like a dove that symbolizes peace flying over it. So I think it's a peace offering. There will be a peace offering in the beginning, and I think maybe these two cards here might actually represent you too. Like you might be you might be like this Queen of Wands. You might even be a Leo or an Aries or a Sagittarius, but but also you could just be very efficient and talented and maybe very hardworking and doing a lot of things. Not hardworking, but just keeping yourself very busy in your work and having a lot of ideas and making sure you are doing something for your career and to better your career. And meanwhile, this person could be here a bit stagnant and while meditating, but also just but not doing anything, like not accomplishing anything, and maybe this will end up in 5 of Pentacles with this rat eating this money. And so I think that he might become a financial burden to you. I'm really sorry to say that, but I feel like he will eat at your savings, and while not working or doing anything. Like, didn't I say that he might soon get fired from his workplace, and so maybe he will move in with you and you will get married, but maybe he will never really get a job because he doesn't really feel like he has to, and he might just stay at home all day doing nothing, like while you're at work, and it will just end up being like a burden to you. Like, it will create financial loss for you, and he will just be like maybe a charity case, someone who you will need to provide for, and who will never like contribute to the household. So, well, if you know this person, who this could be, and then maybe reconsider marrying him, because maybe he will just be a burden to you. So sorry for this very bad negative message, but if it makes you feel any better, then I actually see that this person is quite handsome, and so maybe you can keep him around just to have like something pretty to look at, but like also he could be funny too, so maybe he will like make you laugh, and so maybe that's enough to keep him around. But if money starts to get tight, then he might be like the weight you need to drop, and so well, that's what I see for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading, although it wasn't a negative one. Maybe you won't see it that way. Maybe you are financially good off, and so you can actually maybe support this person. And of course, if you're in love with this person, then we can't really choose who we fall in love with. So and that you will probably see something good in him, since you will be choosing him. Like, there must be something here that is he must have some great qualities too. So maybe it's just the looks and the humor, but that's also very important. So like that's better than someone like who's boring and also not good looking, but of course this person isn't didn't I just say that he wasn't really performing very well in bed, so maybe you can't really use him as like a boy toy. Well, but whatever, you try to see, if not anything, try to see something, try to find out what you get out of this relationship, and maybe you will actually realize that there's something you get out of it, and so maybe this will be positive. I don't know. Maybe money is not very important to you, so maybe losing money is not a bad thing for you. And so, but that's what I see for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Also, like and comment this on this video if this reading resonated with you. And so I hope to see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose the smoky marble, and I will start by channeling a few messages for you. And remember that the messages are very specific, and so they are specific for specific people, and so not everything will apply to you, but well, keep that in mind. So I see, I heard like Christmas, so you might meet in Christmas time, like December, or maybe you might get married in December, or you may even have met in December. I get the sense that you might actually know this person already, or you've met before, so, but you haven't, you might not really have, you might not really know this person, like you might not have talked very much, or so. And so I think that this person actually is thinking about you right now. So this person could be, he might have a strong jawline and maybe a long nose. Like he might also have blonde hair and blue eyes, and his hair could be curly. I think he might have a little patch on his stomach, like his stomach might not be completely flat. He could also be bottom heavy. So he might also be like balding. And he might have freckles. I think his hair might be a bit crispy, so I don't know if he uses like hairspray or gel or something that makes his hair stiffen up a bit. I think he might pluck his eyebrows, and I also got like bronze, so maybe he is very tanned, or maybe he has like hair that is like bronze colored, or maybe he uses bronzer, but I don't think that. So that's not very normal for men to do that, I think, or I don't know. But I don't think he uses bronzer though. He might wear glasses, and I think he dresses really nicely. Like he has he might have a really classy style. He might wear like a lot of button-up shirts. He could also wear like printed shirts with like flower prints, maybe. He might also be a neat freak. I see that this person is actually your soulmate, so that's pretty great. For some of you, this is like someone you already know, and I think you might have gone off to a rocky start, so there might have happened something like right when you met, and maybe a misunderstanding or something like that. So I see that this person could be from Sweden or have ancestors from Sweden. He could also be from France, also California. Maybe West Virginia also. Maybe also the Hamptons or Himalaya also. He could also be like, he could live on the coast somewhere, or near the coast. I see that this person could do like weekly podcasts, or write columns, like in like newspapers or something like that. He could also be a dancer or a singer. He could also be a bartender. He could also like have a job as a bartender, as like a side job. Maybe he's in school, or maybe he dropped out of school recently but kept his job as a bartender even after he dropped out. Or maybe he has graduated recently, so now he's like trying to pursue a career in something creative. He might even have some music up on SoundCloud right now. So for names, I see Constantine, as Randy, Frank, Paul, True, Hanson, Tristan, also maybe an Old Norse name like Loki or something like that, and also Rachel, maybe, or Raphael or something like that. He could have been in a play, like maybe like Hamlet, or he might really like Shakespeare, or he might just be really like to perform like a lot. He might be a great performer, like he likes to be on a stage. I see that he is like a really happy person, and he's really in sync with his emotions. He will be a very good husband, and he will like notice a lot of things that many other men don't notice. Like he will pick up on any feeling that you have. He might be also very in tune with your emotions. Like he might be able to read you like a book. He might know if something bothers you. But I also see that he has this side to him where he's like a hopeless romantic, and so he might not be that romantic. He might be a bit silly around girls, or like goofy. Like he could be someone who like says stuff like "see you later, alligator," or something like cheesy like that. And that's cute and all, but maybe not at the end of a date. So maybe he has like, well, most people would maybe like a kiss or something after a date, but he is someone who might have a hard time like really getting romantic. Like I think that's because he doesn't necessarily take himself so seriously, and so I feel like he might have a hard time like getting really serious, and because that's kind of what you need to be when you're romantic. Like you need to put a bit of a serious face on, and I don't think he actually can have like can put a serious face on, like but I think you will actually find this cute. Like this will make him seem very like familiar to you. Like he might also fit in very well with your family. Like he might even seem like he belongs in your family. Like he might even share like the same humor as your dad. Like, and maybe they will share a lot of dad jokes together, and it would feel like he could like also maybe he seems familiar to you because you shared past lives together, and so he might just seem very familiar to you, and like when you meet, and that's because you've already met in a past life, or you might feel like that when you meet. I think he's like the type who likes to binge watch shows on Netflix. I also see that this person might have been a soldier, or he might have considered being a soldier once, or he might even have applied to the army, and maybe he didn't go, but still maybe something about that. I think that this person could have had a Christian upbringing, so maybe he doesn't like when people curse. Like he could also curse a lot himself, and maybe he like picked that up when he rebelled from his Christian family. Like his family might also have been like strict, so maybe he wasn't allowed to curse, and I think this person, like he talks very much in a way that he doesn't take himself so seriously, so maybe his language is not that like, what's it called, like sophisticated, and I don't think this person has a problem with that. I think he can talk very sophisticated if he wanted to, but he just doesn't want to, and so I also see that you two will have children together. Like you might even be pregnant already, or you will be pregnant very soon after you two start the relationship. Also, if he's balding, you might have to tell him to shave his like hair off, because he might be the type who can't really accept defeat, and so he might hold on to his hair for too long, and even after the balding is really, really apparent. And I see that this person will, this person seems like a really good person though. He's so nice. Like he will back you up no matter what. He will always take your side, especially in family settings. Like if either you fight with your family, or you fight with his family, he will always take your side. And I also see that this person will be quite wealthy. But let's draw some cards. Okay, so I have Googled it, and so mochi mochi. Well, mochi is like a Japanese cake or like cookie. But like mochi mochi is like oats, and then they said something like it's like a buzzword that describes something springy or dewy or like chewy in texture, or so this person might have like or doughy. I think it's doughy. So this person could have like doughy skin. He could also have dewy skin, because for some reason I said dewy instead of doughy, and so maybe he has like maybe his skin looks a bit dewy, and maybe he has elastic skin, like springy skin, like that sounds elastic, or chewy, like that sounds elastic too. I don't know. No, that doesn't sound well. I don't know. Also, this I got this information from like some One Piece fan page, and so I know that's not a very reliable source, but like who cares really? So, but maybe this person is a fan of One Piece, or maybe he really maybe he liked One Piece as a child. He may have read the books or seen like the show. He might also he might be like into manga or like anime. I also heard like Minnesota, so for some of you this person is from Minnesota. He could also be from France, also Peru. But let's draw some cards and see if we can get a few more clues on this person. And so, okay, 6 of Cups, King of Cups, the Tower, Queen of Wands. Okay, so this deck is like this deck like resembles like tattoo art, so he could have tattoos. And also, so I see that this person with the King of Cups here, he could be a water sign. So a Pisces, a Scorpio, or Cancer. He could also be like a combination of a water sign and an earth sign in like sun, moon, and rising. And the King of Cups is also very diplomatic, so that fits quite well. And he could also have a bit of an alcohol problem, or not really, not yet, or he might not ever really develop it, but he might be in risk of developing an alcohol problem. But he might also just be the type who like parties too much. But I think that this person is like really loving and caring, and he will love you very much. And also, like with the egg here, he could be like like I think he might be ready to like make a baby very soon, so he might really want children. So this is also a nostalgia card, so he might be an ex of yours. I'm sorry if that is not something you want to hear. He could also just be very familiar to you. He might be someone you shared past lives with, and so you might feel like you met this person before when you meet. Like also with the tower here, I think he could be the type who likes to stir the pot a bit, like I said before. But he could be, well, he does sound a bit like a Scorpio. Because this person is really loving and caring towards the people that he loves or even like likes. But if you mess with him, or if he doesn't like you, he might sting and be even toxic in a way. And so this person, like, you should be, there's no problems if you're on the right side like of him. Like I also see that this person could be going through his dark night of the soul right now. Like maybe it's because of this isolation period. Like he might have found himself, like he might have become reborn, and he might have left all his toxic traits behind. Like he might have thrown the things that didn't serve him out, and like out of the tower. And I think this could I think he has changed a lot of his life and his identity. Like he might have become more stable and responsible. Maybe he was a bit toxic before. Maybe he even like has like ADHD and has now started medication, and then has like got a bit more control over his like life, with the Queen of Wands here. He could have an ex who will be like trouble, like who will like cause a lot of trouble in this like relationship. Or he could be with like a Queen of Wands like right now, like a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries right now. Or he could have like maybe dark skin, dark hair. He could also be from like Thailand, because of like the Buddha in the tree here. He could also like, well, there's also like boobs here, and so he could have man boobs. He could also have like a bit saggy boobs, like maybe because of his weight loss. He could also like be a big fan of Game of Thrones, because in Game of Thrones there's like trees with like faces on them. So, but let's draw some more cards to see a bit more about how this relationship will be. So Knave of Pentacles, Temperance, the Sun, Ten of Pentacles. So I see right away that the first card here, it has a picture of a pregnant lady. So I think that you might be pregnant at first, like she's of course like pregnant with money. So maybe this could also be like a business that you start together, or that will be very lucrative. Like, but I get the feeling that it's more likely a pregnancy. And with the Temperance here, I think you will balance each other out. This to like something, but he's someone who likes to create. Like, he loves to create something that makes people happy, and in that way he like creates love. So he might love to create art that people will love, and he hopes that it will create more love in the world if he like makes like art. And also I think he is really ready to create like a child soon. Like I really like this person. Like, I hope, like sincerely hope this is my own pile, because I wouldn't mind if this was my future husband. Like, he is so loving and considerate, and so. But let's draw some more cards for you. It's Four of Pipes, which is Four of Wands, and Exemplar of Bowls, which is King of Cups, Eight of Stones, which is Eight of Pentacles, and Totem of Stones, which is Ace of Stones. And so, okay. This is the cards for how your relationship will be. And so I see that this relationship will start with the Four of Pipes. Like, you will start by creating a family, actually. So maybe you will start by getting pregnant really soon after you start the relationship. And you might also like move in together. Like, you won't necessarily buy a house, but you might like just move in together and create a really great home environment for like each other. And also with the Exemplar of Bowls here, if you can see that, like, how these two people are so happy together. Like, he's by her side with his hands on her shoulders. Like, he might even be rubbing her shoulders, and so you might grow old together, because these are like old people. But actually, in the other Exemplar cards, they are quite a lot older looking than this card, so they actually look quite young for their age. So maybe you will keep each other young. So, And I don't get any feeling that you will marry twice. I think you will marry this one time, and this will be forever. And that's quite nice, really, really nice. I will warn you, though, that he could have a bit, like, he could be in risk of developing a dependency to, like, alcohol. So maybe be on the lookout for that. I'm not saying that you should be like his mother or anything, but just if you start to get concerned, then voice that concern to him, and I think he might actually appreciate you for that. He could also be someone who can't really control his liquor. Like maybe he's not going to be an alcoholic, but he's just always gets like too drunk whenever he's whenever he's drinking. Like, but I see that with the 8 of Stones here, you will be really good at working on the relationship, and I think that like together you will be working really hard on the relationship. Not that the relationship will be hard for you, not at all. I'm just seeing that this will be really, really good, but it will be like I think that because you will actually experience maybe like some conflicts, and then but I think you will actually keep the marriage really strong by becoming more and more becoming greater at solving your conflicts, and you will be putting the time and energy into making the relationship work, and you won't be too proud to seek help. Like if you experience like hardship, like you won't hesitate to go in couples therapy or something like that. And I think that's really great for you. Like not many couples would take that risk because they might feel like that would be a sign of defeat, or maybe they would feel like it was embarrassing that they might that they can't like solve their own problems themselves, and then there might even be some people who are afraid of what might come up in a therapy session. And I think you two will be so secure in your relationship and so confident in your relationship that you won't consider like therapy a risk. Like you're not afraid, you will not be afraid of whatever comes up, because you are so sure that you two will be together. You just have some issues you need to solve, but you know that those issues will not be deal breakers. And I also see that both of you will be equally interested in making the relationship work. So you will make every decision like a shared decision. Like you will agree a lot on especially the relationship and the approach to the relationship and to the issues that comes up. So I think you are very much on the same page, and so I see that this relationship will be very healthy, and it will be a really good marriage through thick and thin. Like you will stand by each other's side always. And also with the totem of stones here, I don't know where there's a snake on it, like, and why it says the crawlers, I don't know, but it's Ace of Pentacles, so might be because it's like materialistic, but who knows really. So what I see with the totem of stones is that you will get a lot of success and wealth in this relationship, like the love and support that you two will have for each other will help you make your dreams come true. And so but that's what I see for you, group number 3. Like, congratulations, by the way, because you won the jackpot, and I am like only a little bit jealous, but because this is like so wonderful, and there's almost no bad cards, like only like maybe the Tower, but in this sense, in this reading, I sense that this is actually just the phoenix rising from the ashes. So whatever negative that was in that card will actually be over whenever you start this relationship. So I only see that you two will be truly very happy together, and you will have a very bright future, and I'm very happy for you. Like, that's so great. So this is like this is so much your soulmate. It's just so nice. Like, it's nice to have a positive reading for a change, like, and so like I hope to see you in my next reading, because like I feel like my other readings have been a bit negative, and so please watch my next reading so that I can channel more positive messages, because like this is so great. And so also, if you like this reading, I would love your feedback, so comment or like this video, and so see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 4. You chose this Numite, and I will first channel some messages before I proceed to the cards. And remember that like this is a general reading, so I will be channeling a lot of specific messages to like specific people, and so if something doesn't resonate with you, then please just leave it behind and focus on the things that actually resonates with you. So first of all, I heard St. Patrick's Day, so you might meet on St. Patrick's Day, or you might have met on St. Patrick's Day, or maybe you will get married on that day. So, or maybe his name is Patrick. I see that you will, maybe when you meet, you will like play Trivial Pursuit or like Munchkin together. Like, he might also be very much into board games. Maybe he even works at a store that sells board games, or maybe like a store for like nerds who like Dungeons and Dragons and role playing, and maybe even like comic books. So I also heard cast a spell, so maybe you have like cast a spell on this person, or maybe he has cast a spell on you, or maybe this is also just part of that role-playing, like the role-playing games, and maybe I believe you can like cast spells in like Dungeons and Dragons, so maybe that's what that is all about. But he might also be very much into fantasy movies and also fantasy shows. Maybe he, well, if it's movies, maybe he likes like Lord of the Rings or something like that. He could also be a gamer. He might also like retro games. Maybe like he even might even like have retro, what's it called, consoles, like gaming devices. And he might also be a fan of Zelda and also like Final Fantasy, maybe some of the older games. He might also like them because of nostalgia, and so maybe he is in his 30s. And with the Numite here, I think he is very deep. Well, he could be deep, at least, and he might be a student of some sort. He might also be very interested in the occult, or he could just be studying a lot of mystical things. And he could come from a family of academics. Maybe his father is a professor, or his mother could also be like a teacher or something. His family might be very smart, and he might also come from a long lineage of great people who did great things and like in their lifetime. And he could also he could be a fixed sign and a water sign, so he might be a Scorpio. He could also have his sun sign in the 8th house. He could also be one of the other water signs like Pisces or Cancer. He could also be a Taurus, a Leo, or an Aquarius. He could have a car, maybe a Nissan Qashqai or something like that, or maybe a car that looks like that. Or I see also that he might like propose in a very cheesy way, and I don't want to ruin it, but well, what the hell. So he might write like on a post-it note or a sticker or something that like a note that says like, will you marry me? And like he might even like stick it on the fridge. Like, I don't know, but it's really a very unconventional way of like proposing. And I think he comes from a very stable environment. Like, I think I don't see that he has much family or childhood trauma. Actually, I think he has had a very solid upbringing, and also I think his family will be like they are like very well off, so maybe they will even pay for the wedding if your family is not that well off. I think this person will be very no nonsense and like no drama. He will be someone who might distance himself completely from drama. He might even be a bit afraid of conflict. Like, so I don't think you will necessarily have him on your side if a conflict occurs. Like, I think he will become very quiet, and maybe he will try to like be very diplomatic and like find common grounds and between common grounds between you and the person you are like in a conflict with. And even though this is a like great way to solve a conflict, you might feel like he will not stick up for you, or but I don't think it's because he doesn't take your side or will not take your side. I think he just feels very uncomfortable like whenever there is like a conflict, and I think he might have been taught by his parents that he should always get both sides, and like there's always two sides to a story. So you might try to too much to understand all parties, and this is a really fantastic skill, by the way, but it might not be a great skill in a relationship. Like then you might have to be a bit more loyal to your partner. He might actually be a Libra, or a Libra in Mercury, because like Libras are really good at being diplomatic, and one of his parents could also be a Libra. I think this person has like really dreamy eyes. He might even have like bedroom eyes, and his eyes could also be very shiny. Like he might have a really like, he could like watery eyes. He could also have like long eyelashes. He might have like curly hair. It's weird why I've got curly hair for almost every single pile, but I get the sense that this person might not have like completely curly hair. It could be just very wavy, or maybe a bit messy. Like he could also like, he could look a bit like Bon Jovi. So like Google him if you are not sure how Bon Jovi looks. Like I channeled like Bon Jovi in my last reading, and I also had to Google him because like although I knew who he was and was familiar with the music, I had no like clue what he looked like. And so, well, John Bon Jovi, if like, but so there's like no shame in Googling him. And I also got something about a masquerade. So maybe you'll meet at a masquerade. Maybe you'll like meet at an event where you need to dress up. Like he might also like to dress up a lot. Like maybe he's a cosplayer. You might also meet at like at like Comic-Con. Or something like that. Oh, sorry. Didn't I just say that like you would meet at St. Patrick's Day? So maybe he will be dressed like a leprechaun or something like that. I also heard like sorority. So maybe you live in like sorority home, or what's that called? Or you will have a party there and he will come to that party. Or there is also a possibility that this could be a woman. And in that case, the person could be named Caroline. I know that this reading is about your future husband, and there is a lot of men here. That's just for one person, where this could be a woman. But in this case, if you're wondering why like a woman would look at like a future husband and video and the future husband would come up as a woman, then this could be that this person, or you that you are not have not realized that you are actually into girls, or we might just like fall in love with a girl randomly, and well, if that's the case, I think this person could come from like a Christian family and live in a sorority, and I see that like if this is not a girl, this person could have like a sister who's a church goer, or maybe even a priest. I also heard like skimmed milk, and so maybe he drinks skimmed milk, or maybe he is like very skinny and white, and maybe he might also be like freakishly skinny. He might even be like fasting right now, or he could be on a diet, or maybe he has lost a lot of weight recently, and maybe he used to be overweight, or maybe he was overweight and maybe was overweight most of his life, and maybe also like childhood, and he could have recently started dieting and exercising, and he might have taken it like too far, and he might be too skinny now, and also he could have recently started on some medication that made him lose a lot of weight, and also he could have had a thyroid problem, or something like that. Also he could have been one of the people who actually lost weight or who has lost weight since like Corona started, because he has finally had some time to actually focus on his diet. And he could also have been like someone who went out to eat a lot with his friends, and maybe he went to a lot of restaurants, and maybe he also partied a lot, and so now that this hasn't been like possible, he might have lost a lot of weight because of that. And I also heard like look up, so maybe this person lives upstairs where you live, and or maybe if you look up right now from your screen, maybe there is something in your room that can be a sign of, or a clue to like who this person could be. And so do that. And also this person could have a name like Anthony, or he could be called Tony. Also like Tobias, also Dennis, and Kim. He could also have a Spanish name. And I sense for some of you, this person might be the type who says he hates drama, but he actually stirs the pot a lot. So he might actually not be that afraid of conflict. He might just act like whenever he actually like starts a conflict with well, he might build up a conflict and then take like a step back and say, I don't want to participate in this drama, so I'm just going to leave. And that's like after he has like started the whole conflict, and he's the one who caused it, and so that might be like significant for one of you maybe. Okay, so I have Googled it, and so mochi mochi. Well, mochi is like a Japanese cake or like cookie, but like mochi mochi is like oats, and then they said something like it's like a buzzword that describes something springy or dewy or like chewy in texture, or so this person might have like or doughy. I think it's doughy. So this person could have like doughy skin. He could also have dewy skin, because for some reason I said dewy instead of doughy, and so maybe he has like maybe his skin looks a bit dewy, and maybe he has elastic skin, like springy skin, like that sounds elastic, or chewy, like that sounds elastic too. I don't know. No, that doesn't sound well. I don't know. Also, this I got this information from like some One Piece fan page, and so I know that's not a very reliable source, but like who cares really? So, but maybe this person is a fan of One Piece, or maybe he really maybe he liked One Piece as a child. He may have read the books or seen like the show. He might also he might be like into manga or like anime. I also heard like Minnesota, so for some of you this person is from Minnesota. He could also be from France, also Peru. But let's draw some cards and see if we can get a few more clues on this person. And so, okay, 6 of Cups, King of Cups, the Tower, Queen of Wands. Okay, so this deck is like this deck like resembles like tattoo art, so he could have tattoos, and also so I see that this person with the King of Cups here, he could be a water sign, so a Pisces, a Scorpio, or Cancer. He could also be like, this person may also be like, you can see with the fire and the water here combining into like steam, and so you might you might be a fire sign and this person might be a water sign, and I think that you when you like you will balance each other out. This person, like I think you both like have like positive and negative sides like all of us, but I think you will be able to like highlight the positive sides in each other, and also with the rainbow here, like this could be an LGBTQ relationship. Like if you look at the face of this woman, she has like no face, and I think that's because like you will downplay your egos a bit, and you will come together and create something together that is completely yours. Like, I think you will become one of those couples where you almost melt into each other, and like you can see here, not this card, but with the Sun card here, you can see that these two animals here are like joined by the hip or something like, but they are like melted together. They are united together, and I think that you will become like you will like eliminate all selfishness, and maybe you might also like here with the Temperance, you might combine forces, and in order to like build a relationship or a business or project together, like whatever you are doing, you are like combining forces, and I think you will actually really complement each other really greatly and good. But I also see that like you will shine together as like one sun, and but you might become quite dependent on each other. But I see that this relationship will be very fruitful, like money-wise. With the Ten of Pentacles here, you will get a lot of money and stability in this relationship. You will grow old together and have a lot of wealth together, and I don't see that you will marry again, so I think this marriage will last. So that's what I see for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next